What's up, people? Um, I'm gonna cover the cloud. And the reason why I'm going to talk about the cloud, I'm going to answer your question to what is the cloud. This past week, about 12, maybe even 15 people have asked me about the cloud, which I found unusual because when they had the commercials out about going to the cloud, to be honest with you, hardly anyone asked me any questions about it. But now, this past Tuesday, Steve Jobs gave a speech and he announced that that Apple's coming out with a product that they call iCloud, and there were no commercials about it, but they've been talking about it on the news and it's been in the papers, and now everyone's asking me about the cloud, and I'm just like, hey, Steve Jobs is a marketing genius, man, because I mean, no one's really, well, all this time, people are starting to really ask me about what the cloud. I think maybe 2 or 3 people when the commercials were on TV asked me what the cloud was, and now I've got like about 4 or 5 times that many people asking what the cloud is. And I actually tried to explain to someone what the cloud was, and they told me I was wrong because they felt that Steve Jobs invented the cloud, and the cloud is not going to be ready until next month or until the end of the year or something like that. And I was just like, well, really? So I'm just like, well, okay. Let me clear up the confusion as to what the cloud is. And by the way, the cloud has been around for a while. Steve Jobs did not invent the cloud. I'm going to explain the cloud in terms of your average user. I'm not going to explain the cloud in terms of an enterprise business and how they're going to use it in big corporate, because they look at the cloud as a totally different thing, in the ways that it can benefit them. So I've done a little PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to start off with this right here. What is the cloud? The three main things the cloud is used for is for syncing your email, your contacts, and your calendars. 2 for storage, and 3 for applications. Now all of this syncing, storage, and applications are online. And if you see where I put email, for those of you who have like a Yahoo account, a Gmail account, or what else, Hotmail account, you actually have a sample of what the cloud is. I mean, you can basically log on any computer in the world. If you have a like, let's say you have a Gmail account, and all you have to do is put in your username, your password, and you got your email. And if you use, I think Google has an application called Calendars, and I have clients who have this stuff, and you can actually, once you log in, you can look at your calendar schedules, you can check your schedules, and pretty sure Yahoo offers the same thing. So you already have an example of the cloud. All of this stuff has been around, even before Steve Jobs announced the iCloud. So the cloud, the cloud has existed before Steve Jobs made the announcement this past Tuesday. Um, Storage. All of this is online. Like, you can do online storage. Now, some people already know there are backup services where you can actually back up what's on your computer to an online server. Just like I believe it's a Flickr thing where you can put your pictures online, so you can tell your family where to go to look at your pictures. That's part of the cloud thing too. Um, and number 3, I'll just hit application, word processing, spreadsheets. Now that's more of a business type thing. And for those, let me put it like this: you can use application like word processing, spreadsheet without having the application on your actual computer. The application is actually online. You can run it over an internet browser, and that's another example of what the cloud is used for. So that's why I put those 1, 2, 3 things: syncing, storage, and applications is what the cloud is used for. Now the physical cloud. Now I have a picture of the man himself right in the lower left corner, Steve Jobs. And actually, I believe that's just a picture from a presentation. He's not actually in. That's called a server room. And for those of you who don't know, those are called a rack-mounted servers. Basically, they're a bunch of computers. They're in a great big room. So even though you hear about the cloud is actually a physical place. There's more than just one server room. There's different companies have different server rooms, but basically those are just rack-mounted servers or computers. You might say very powerful computers, and they hold the applications and the data and all the stuff you think is going to the cloud. It's actually going to an actual room that looks like that, and that's where all your data and applications and your email and all that stuff is stored at. I mean, you have even servers that look like computers you might have at home, but this is like a data center or a server room. That's what physically what the cloud is. All right, this is just a sample of the data on the cloud. There's in the lower left, there's an iPad, there's an iPhone in the lower right, and at the top there's a laptop, MacBook. Now let's say that you got into iTunes on your iPad and you downloaded some music. The theory with the cloud is that once you download that music to your iPad, it'll go to the cloud, and the cloud will know that that music can also go to your notebook, and it can also go to your iPhone. Now there are people who only have like one computer, and they might have one cell phone or iPhone, whatever, but they might not have any need to sync either one of the two, and they might, or let's say there are some people who just want to have one computer, they use it for computing, they have the one cell phone, they use it for just like making calls, they have no need for this. So all this cloud stuff might not mean anything to you. Um, so that's just how some people are. But some people, they hear about all this cloud stuff, they want to know how it benefits them. What does this, what does this cloud thing do for me? What does this mean for me? And it's not just music. You can put photos on the cloud, your contact list, the iBooks, those electronic books. In fact, I believe it's the Amazon Kindle. Amazon Kindle, they don't really announce it, but they actually do that. If you have a Kindle application on your computer and you buy a book on your computer, it will actually download to your the books you brought. It will automatically download to your Kindle once you start your Kindle up. So the cloud, the cloud isn't just an Apple thing. The cloud exists with a lot of different businesses. A lot of email services. The cloud is not an app, a strictly Apple thing. It's been around for a while. All right, now I'm going to this next screen. The next screen says the application on the cloud server. Now this is kind of something more of a business would want. You could run application like, let's say you had your laptop on the road and you want to access your word processing program. Most people use Microsoft Office, and let's say you want to use Excel. You could do the same thing. Now, if you do your desktop at home, you can also access the same thing, and you wouldn't have to have any application installed on your computer. And you actually wouldn't even have to have the documents installed on your computer. The documents also be installed on the cloud. Now, for those of you who are old school, you might remember you had one time you had something called a mainframe. You had terminals, and everything existed on the mainframe. You just used the terminal and the monitor to access the stuff on the mainframe. This is actually kind of a Back to the Future type thing. So the cloud is kind of like making an old thing new again, but it's doing a different way. Instead of using mainframes and supercomputers, it's using servers and data center server rooms. But that's just my quick explanation of what the cloud is. I know I'm using this website to give you tips, but it's just something people want to ask me about because Steve Jobs mentioned it, and Steve Jobs apparently is the tech guru to a lot of people. So when he says something, everyone's interested. So this is just me letting you know what the cloud is, and hopefully, I'm trying to make this short and not too complex. And I hope you get what I'm saying. Thanks for listening. Peace.